pirates are loyal to me for as long as I can summon their precious daughter. However, I cannot guard my locker and pirates sail free and interfere without consent.
What's going on, guys? Jurassic here. Today we're doing Sea of Thieves, the Dark Brethren, Tall Tale number 4 of the new Pirates of the Caribbean DLC.
Oh, you traveled to the Sea of the Damned, walked its shores and found one lost in his own past. Not many can walk beyond the veil that way. The things they see steal away their minds forever, till they even forget that they're dead. But David Jones will not forget how you stood in his way. Nor will him forgive the Siren Queen for failing him. Wait, we are not alone. You know you cannot hide from me, Jack Sparrow.
I wasn't hiding. I was eavesdropping. Vastly different pastimes.
There he stand, another pirate who's twice come back from the land of the dead, who escaped the raid on Isla Tesoro and even found the Fountain of Youth.
Hey, have you been gossiping about me with this strange, book-obsessed individual? Whatever they've told you, it's not true. Unless it's flattering, in which case, it's all true, but they left out the best bits.
The man who stole the only trinket that can reach David Jones. A pendant twin to the one Jones himself possesses.
How can you know all this? That pendant?
Belongs to me.
You can't be.
Aye. This time it was to see what brought you back to me, Jack.
See it, Olma! Look, Calypso! Shouldn't you be floating on a cloud of bubbles, whatever it is sea goddesses do? And while I'm asking the questions, am I alive or am I not? I look like a ghost. I can turn invisible, yet I can still touch my belongings.
The Sea of Thieves is a hunting place. It bestows many gifts even upon the dead. That is why I followed the Black Pearl here. To protect these sacred waters from Davy Jones and that which follow him. That is all the answers I have. Now you must listen. Davy Jones knew that the pirates of this world threaten him lands. So him summoning his own dark version of a brethren god, made of those cruel and corrupted souls who long to rule the Sea of Thieves. If him succeed, him power will be greater than ever before.
This is why I love running to old friends. They always have such cheery news. Ha! But if Jones is inviting his friends for tea, that means we know where to find him. And, by the by, my treasure.
You speak the truth. And since you still hold the key to his fortress, with my sketches you can find your way inside. Think of what you want most, Jack Sparrow. It will show you the way.
Right, well, given that these are unfamiliar waters, I lack a ship with which to sail upon them, critical decisions must now be made. You will always remember this is the day your crew was joined by Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, I know that's a great honor to bestow upon a humble vessel such as yours. Don't you worry. I promise you won't be an imposition. Theodolma, about that treasure, if it was entrusted to Davy Jones, that can only mean...
Hush! There are some truths not ready to be told. Their time will come when a deed is done. Now make sail with it, Jack, and be swift.
Oh, well then. See you aboard.
With Witty Jack at your side, you have the key to enter the Heart of Sorrow. It's a sorrow that can never die. Davy Jones him shares this sorrow with the sirens. They make this place for Jones a fortress built from the ruins of the pirate's dream. Already Jones controls the sunken kingdom. Now with treasure him holds that grants him more power than any soul should have. He has summoned a dark brethren to fight in his name. The sirens will sing a song for the hearts of Davy Jones. Alright, so it looks like the Coral Fortress is going to be somewhere over near Smuggler's Bay, maybe a little bit north of it.
It seems we have a long journey ahead of us, so I took the liberty of helping myself to some provisions. Now, Jones's fortress is practically off the edge of the map. But not to worry, my compass knows the way. Well, shall we?
Aye, aye, Captain. Alright, so let's go see which way we need to be heading. It's like northwest-ish.
I met a mermaid once. Nice girl. Bit naive, yet still fierce. Interesting combination. The Reaper's hideout. Not much of a hideout if you put it on the map.
That's a good point.
The shores of gold. I like the sound of that. Let's go there next. Devil's Ridge, the Devil's Roar, the Devil's Thirst. Once again proving that pirates are an unimaginative lot when it comes to naming.
Well, that's Jack Sparrow's take on the Sea of Thieves.
How can it be the Lost Gold Fort if everyone knows where it is?
I'm wondering, do you guys think that there's going to be future Pirates of the Caribbean stuff added in afterwards?
If you know what you want.
Alright, so once you get over to the Coral Fortress, you see those big blue coral areas here? That's basically where the main entrance to the cave is, so it's going to be roughly around the corner here.
Let's make use of the tradesman's entrance.
This is what you call the tradesman entrance.
This humble trinket once belonged to Teodolma, a twin to the one Jones possesses, and the key to his most valuables. My crew found it on the deck of the Pearl after Tia was released, shall we say. What matters is this got me inside another of Jones's strongholds once before. Let's just hope he hasn't changed his tune.
Alright, Jack, do your thing. So basically, the tune is going to be playing the same one that's in the movie? And apparently Jones just was never smart enough to change his lock. Now this is going to take a little bit to go through. It has to play the entire song for it to actually open up. So it does take a little bit. It's pretty cool how all the gems and everything start glowing whenever he plays it though. And now you finally entered into the unknown. I said it before, I'll say it again. They did like an amazing job with the Tall Tale and this whole like 5 new Tall Tales that just came out of nowhere. I don't know how long they've been planning this, but I'm very impressed.
Not surprising. Jones assumes I'm dead and lost for all eternity, adrift on an ocean of forsaken souls. So he hasn't bothered to change the locks. Frankly, I find that rather insulting.
Me too. Does that mean he doesn't find us capable of making you come back to life?
Let's move on. I doubt there's anything worth taking here.
Aye aye. Alright, so basically all you gotta do is follow Jack down the waterway. I'll speed this part up because it does take a little bit long to swim through. There will be like little coral bubbles like in the first couple Tall Tales, and basically you just swim there to get some oxygen. And Jack's going to do his thing with this here rock and make it so we can actually go through. As a ghost, he's obviously able to cheat and go through things where we're not able to yet. Be really interesting if they actually have it so you can become a ghost.
There's a resting place just up here if you need to satisfy. Mind your step though. It's slimy, treacherous. Reminds me of a Commodore.
Oh. Okay, so there's a little jet that sits there and shoots you all the way up here.
Did you see me swim straight through that door? Wonder if I'll come into possession of any other ghostly talents. It's no good. I can't move things with my mind. Shame. What about? No, that doesn't work either. Would have been great fun though. It seems my newfound skills are limited to turning invisible and walking through walls. Once I get my treasure back, I'm heading straight.
Alright, so basically you need to jump on that wooden thing. You can basically make it so it goes all the way over to you, and then it will eventually automatically move back to its original position. So it should carry you over to the next side relatively easily. Hop on over here. And it's going to take a little bit of jumping skills, but you shouldn't have too much of an issue, and just climb straight up.
There you are. Oh, so you think you've taken a tumble? Not everyone's as steady on their feet as I am.
Oh, you got a point, Jack. Definitely no one is, not as clumsy as you. And then you get to come down this super cool little slide. I don't know if you can go down different paths or not. I was trying to click different buttons to see, because I mean, it looks like you should be able to go down different ways, but maybe it's just a set way every single time. Now when you get here, if you do swim down, you will see a trident right next to you, so I recommend grabbing that since they're really good to take on some of the bigger enemies in the game. Especially the new coral monsters and things like that. It's real good damage to them. But basically, the Dutchman at this point is just going to be nowhere to be found. This is just going to be an abandoned ship.
She may be crewed by a gang of antisocial shellfish. This vessel is nothing if not Paris. Powerful, too. She was fast enough to follow the Black Pearl when we crossed the horizon with my treasure, and scuppered us before we knew it was what. Although, if the Dutchman sailed inside this fortress, she must possess some means of opening that big door over yonder. All we have to do is find it. There was a time this ship had a proud mission and a noble purpose, but that was long ago. Still, let's not disturb what we mustn't.
So pretty much find anything that looks gold and collect it. Got it. You know, for being able to just like completely walk around wherever you want on these ships, they did a really good job. Especially since, you know, it's not like they're going to be around the map too long, I don't think. I'm wondering if they're going to later on add them into like the main open world outside the Tall Tales. So you got the cannons and everything down here. That's pretty cool. Now if you head down below, I have no clue what this dagger does.
Shall we have a look around? Better let me. This ship has a nasty habit of making those aboard her part of the furniture.
It collects it, but I'm not sure if that's part of the Tall Tale or not.
Part of the ship, part of the crew, 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 part of the ship, part of the crew.
So they're doing this whole thing like they normally do, but nothing really pops out of the corner here. Like everything just stays back to normal.
This, mate, is the inner sanctum of the most vengeful creature to sail the seas. That spot right there is where I swipe the treasure out from under the nose he doesn't have. If we don't get it back, this will never be over.
So there is a Tall Tale book right here in the corner.
It'll take more than one wee pendant to get them seen. Now, this is either very old sheet music or Davy Jones's secret recipe for liver and onions. See if you can make heads or tails of it.
So basically, Jack is going to hand you a music sheet at this point where you're able to actually play the main Pirates of the Caribbean tune. Now, I'm not sure if this is like the actual music notes, but they sort of lay it out for you relatively easily. They got it numbered and everything, so it's not like you actually have to know how to play a piano. If you use the W key, it moves your finger up onto the black bars, and if you click S, it'll bring it back down to the white. I assume with controllers, you just push up and down to select which one. And if you do it wrong, it'll basically put all the flames out. Alright, Alright, so you want to start with the cut one here and just go straight across. Skip one. And once you finally get the last flame lit, the map is basically going to be playing the tune in the background for you. That was a lot faster. I'm satisfied. Alright, so let's speed all this stuff up. So basically, once you get to this point and you start the song, there's going to be 4 different sirens all around the world, and they're basically just going to be spawning a whole bunch of enemies, and you just basically have to satisfy the need of blood for them to finally stop trying to kill you. So everything's going to be in super fast motion. We got the cannons, you got it on the below deck, upper deck. The upper deck seems to be a little bit easier to shoot most of the things, however you are a lot more vulnerable in that position, so just keep that in mind. Basically, you're just going to want to kill around. Now, each different phase has like their own phase of it, so once you get around to the second and third one, they are going to start spawning on inside the ship, which is why I recommend keeping the trident on you that we located earlier, or at least knowing where one is on the ship in case you need another one. And they are going to be attacking you from all different sides, so basically you just want to just go back and forth, make sure everything's cleared. If you see any of the big giant crab monsters, I recommend charging up your trident to at least the 3rd stage since it does the most damage, but the 2nd stage is alright. It's just you'll have to do a couple more shots. And if you guys didn't notice, there is the original tune in the background, but it's a little bit super fast speed, so it sounds kind of cool. One quick tip, if you do die and you have a teammate get you, that's perfect. If not, you are able to spawn back on the boat. It's not like you have to swim all the way back to this point. Just thought I'd throw that in just in case you guys were curious. And as soon as you see that combination, basically everything's going to calm down.
Certainly doesn't.
It's just a regular mermaid that takes you back to your boat.
Disembark before he sends anyone else to offer us a warm welcome. Let us find out where that door leads, eh?
Now, the door he's referring to is actually behind the Dutchman's boat, so you just basically want to go to the very back of it, and that big area that's completely open, I guess there was a door there. They sort of just lead you to the ship, so I ended up just going like straight to it. I didn't even think about looking around. But then it basically takes you to this place. This place is a little bit of a trap at first because there's going to be a whole lot of mermaids that start spawning in, so basically you're just going to have to kill them. There's probably about 6 or 7 of them or so. It's not really too much, but once you kill them, you want to swim all the way down. Now, if you guys notice these wood instructions down here, there's going to be those little ropes that you're able to cut with a sword. If you cut those, you're actually able to get them to go up to the surface and continue on to the next part. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Which is nice, simple. You can either use your sword or you can shoot it with a gun. I don't know what the 3rd piece is for though, because it seems like you just mainly need this main boat piece and this other one right next to it. I don't know if you were supposed to originally be able to jump across or something, but I found just climbing on top of the boat there, you're able just to do it nice and easy, because you can sort of climb on the back of the hull. There's this lever here, but we weren't able to get the door to open. Maybe there was a 3rd one somewhere. We did find a 2nd one, but since we couldn't ever get it to open, I don't know what's behind it. I'm kind of curious. We'll definitely be checking this out again. Probably on a live stream or something on Sunday. Assuming everybody is home and wants to do it. Alright, so basically all you have to do is hop across this wood area. Start heading your way upstairs. Grab some ammo if you're low. And just want to make sure we're not missing anything. Climb up the next ladder. This part's pretty simple. And basically all you gotta do is use this pulley here. It's going to lower the elevator. The broken boat technically is an elevator. Then Jack Sparrow is going to magically appear and tell you to hurry it up. That's the easiest way I could describe it. Basically just sword lunge back across and you'll be caught up with Jack.
As charming
And
as this
he's
chamber
not going to do anything except open the store behind us.
Allow me to assist via my newly discovered intangible, my invisible, that thing I do where I walk through things.
So basically he's going to face through the gate, go through and open it from the other side. And all you have to do is just follow the path upwards. It's not really too hard of an area. It's basically just come around the corner. There's no books or anything I saw in the hallway, so there's nothing really that you should
the sirens
miss.
have been collecting trophies. Just hope the Pearl's been spared such a fate. She deserves far better.
Oh, she looked pretty rough. We saw her, I think,
Well,
Telltale
that's
2,
lost
right?
to time, just like everything else down here.
Yeah. So there's going to be some mermaids in here, which is obviously going to lead into the next path. However, that mermaid does not have a gem yet. So you're not able to get through that door until you find the gem. Thankfully, it's not too hard to find.
For 7 sunsets, the sirens pursued us across these cursed waters, swaddling our ship in their song. The sound was beautiful, hauntingly so. But the carvings I found have shown me the truth. Theirs is a song of sorrow for all that they have forgotten. Their home, their kin, their past. The melodies of these truths have slipped into shadow, replaced long ago by lamentations of the lost. No wonder Jones controls the sirens. His song is also one of sorrow for things past. I don't suppose Sea Zorn, Calypso, happened to mention it to you, but they used to be close. He served 10 years aboard the Dutchman just to spend one day at her side. When she didn't honor her part of the bargain, well, let's just say it made him the thing he is today. Right, that's enough of that. This place is full of forgotten treasures. There might be something we can use inside one of these wrecks.
One thing I will say is they did a really good job of recapping like the main parts of the Caribbean storyline in this game if you've never seen the
If I could
movies.
just... No, doesn't matter. I'll come back later.
Now if you see these little mermaid paintings,
Or at the very least,
Jack's going to be on the other
Why
side
don't you
of
take
that.
it out ahead while I continue the search? Who knows what else Jones has buried down here?
He's sort of a ghost, so he's just sort of blinking in and out of places, so it's a little confusing, but it's right here next to this coral. And basically, it's going to be the siren heart, so all you gotta do is put it into that siren. It's going to actually activate him. You match the siren paintings up with what's on the wall, blow the horn like we're all used to, and then the door should open. So it looks like everything needs to be in the up position, so it's not too bad. So just stab it once, like a so. It's going to be up, and all you gotta do is hit the horn. It's going to do that little chime, and then the door is going to open, and you'll hear it like a little ching noise if you actually do it correctly. So this next part, you do have to search around quite a bit in order to find all the mermaids, but I'm going to try to describe their locations as best I can. But we're going to go ahead and move this boat upwards just in case, that way we might be able to get a glimpse at the second one real quick. The first one's going to be right next to the boat. Behind it, there's this guy with a coral here, you just match it up with the painting next to it. Now with the boat positioned upwards, if you look to your right, you should see the mermaid with a pearl. So it's going to be up top here. There's the mermaid with the pearl. So all you have to do is scope in. And if you shoot it, it automatically moves their hands just like you're stabbing. So that's all you have to do. Now the next one's going to be on the bottom left side of the boat. If you have the boat raised just a little bit higher, it's a lot easier to see their hands. Once you do all three, you just have to shoot the mermaid with the blowhorn. That's going to turn off the waterfall in front of us and allow us to actually be able to raise the boat and jump across without being pushed out immediately. See how the water just randomly starts popping back up whenever the song is finished? And then it will close. Now, the boat automatically raises itself if you start it. So basically all you have to do is start it and it'll just automatically do it while you're running across. So it's not like it's a time thing. You can pretty much have an infinite amount of time to get across there. It does eventually go down though. But it's not like you have to, raise it up to like 90% and then start running. Nah, basically as soon as you do like 3%, it'll automatically go up to 100% up. That's pretty nice of them. And then all you have to do is just walk straight across. For the most part, all of these like tunnels and everything in this tall tale is like pretty straightforward. There's no like random trick paths or anything. So far, the only tall tale that we had a little bit of issues on was Tall Tale 2, but we were able to solve our issue relatively quickly. Other than that, I haven't really run into any other issues with the tall tales, at least. Alright, so once you do all that, you're going to need to stab the dude with a blowhorn. This guy is going to be a little bit tricky to locate. But basically, you just walk back a little bit, and if you see him over here on the ledge, you can just shoot him again, and you are free to enter the next room. Takes a minute for the doors to open. Now this is going to be another area where enemies start spawning in, so you are going to need to be prepared to fight. Just as a heads up. And right about here is where the enemies start popping. Grab your ammo, especially if you have any like trident spears left over, those are extremely good for these guys. Definitely want to try to avoid the big dudes as best as possible. I would say sometimes the sniper scopes do glitch out and they don't actually aim down sight. But I'm not putting that fault on the tall tales, that's just something going on with my game. I think if you shoot them in their heart where that gem is, that you do a little bit of extra damage. So I always try to aim at that. Alright, so that dude will be dead, unless you have a trident. Tridents, you can basically just hit them anywhere, and they pretty much are like 2 hit if you actually do the 3-stage one. Alright, so obviously you definitely don't want to be standing near the ones that have the little shells on their face because they do have some sort of acidic gas left behind, and the dudes with the whips will shock you. But as long as you keep your distance, sniper works, same with the shotgun, either way. I recommend eating like all of the bananas and stuff and then bringing the pineapples in for later on because pineapples heal you a lot better. Just as a pro tip, especially if there's like a box where, there's 6 fruits, but you can only carry 5, make sure you eat all of the junk ones first and save the big ones for the next boss fight. Now this is another area where the water just randomly starts spraying up on the ground, and once again I accidentally backed into it, but it's right there as you guys can see. So basically all you have to do is follow this little wooden pathway behind us. It'll lead you to here. Now you might think, where on earth am I supposed to go? But you're just supposed to shoot or stab that rope right there. And that's going to release the gate that was stopping us. So now all we have to do is hop back down. And you are good to go to continue the tall tale. Now once you come down here, there is no way of going back, just so you know. And there's going to be another coral checkpoint in the top left corner there. Whenever you do decide to shoot it, that is how you continue on into the next area. You can also stab this one because it's just low enough. So go and go on through. Then it's going to take you to a room full of mermaids again. Just like the Tall Tale 2, except this time it's actually supposed to be like this. Ours, we got lucky, we didn't really have to do most of the work. However, this one, this is basically what they were hinting at in the other one. It's kind of weird. This one just seems to run smoother. I don't know if maybe their coding got messed up when they uploaded it. I don't know. It was kind of weird. all got implemented differently than everything else. Like, even the pulleys and everything from here on out, after Tall Tale 2, everything is just back to normal, like up, down. You don't have to do anything like crazy in order to do it. It's like some of the files got corrupted, so like the pulleys were turning into what the harpoons would be. So the harpoons, you do that to make it go quicker whenever you latch onto stuff on land. I don't know. This one, everything just worked normal. Not that it's a bad thing that it works normal, but it's really curious why one works with the exact same assets where the other one doesn't. Huh, just something to think about. Alright, so basically once the water fills back up, you just have to go through this little tunnel here. The water will stop, so don't worry, it's not like you have to swim through a crazy tunnel in time or anything. And you just have to continue on through. Jump on to the next mast. Now this area is going to be a little bit tricky. There's going to be a pulley here, so basically you have a pulley for this front mast and you have to jump across, and there's going to be a second pulley. A person solo can do it because everything is on a timer, so basically if you have it in the up position, if you raise the next pulley, it's going to do the exact same motion, but you do have to locate the pulley. So the second pulley is going to be down below. It's going to raise up this half of the mast, and if you look behind you on the little shelf here, that's basically where you're trying to jump to. And there'll be another wooden door behind us. As a solo person though, if you do the top one first, then go do the bottom one, you have just enough time to jump across, if you guys are curious. Alright, so now we'll just take the slide back down. It's been a while since we've seen Jack. He's been popping up quite often, then he just disappears. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue who Wanda is. I don't remember.
Was your dance with the Siren Queen? Your dream.
Sirens are loyal to me for as long as I can summon their precious daughter. However, I cannot guard my locker and pirates sail free and interfere without consent.
I'm not exactly sure why they ended their talk so quickly. They just sort of freaked out, threw some smoke, and just like vanished. Now in this room there is going to be a Dutchman's chest. I thought that you would have to go into the next area, grab the key, and come back, but the key is actually found in this room, right there next to that little door that looks like a puzzle room to our left. I completely missed it in this video, so I am sorry about that. But I just thought I'd throw that out there in case you guys were curious, because you do get a accommodation for opening it. Alright, so basically that's going to be the mermaids to go back to the ship, and if you continue on after this point, you're going to be stuck into the boss fight, and you're not able to go back.
You thought to challenge the rule of the Siren Queen, and now you've come to challenge me, interfering in things you cannot comprehend. Do you not fear death? You'll soon learn to. A world without the eternal abyss is a world frozen in time. You pirates here, hide within your devil's shroud, frightened of the truth that nothing lasts forever. It has all crumbled to dust. Final trace of glory. No freedom, no love, nothing to save you from the void. And as you stare into the jaws of oblivion, you will crawl aboard my vessel, beg for my salvation, and all I'll say is, what is that infernal noise? Let's shout an infernal noise to you, mate! Jack Sparrow! You will not claim your prize a second time. Begin the ritual. They must not interfere.
So basically Jack is going to be doing his own thing to help you out as best he can during this fight. However, there is going to be a whole lot of the corals and electricity dude spawning at this point.
Try to lure them into my sights.
Thankfully, though, he actually does use the cannons around the world, so if you're in here by yourself, he does a pretty good job helping you. This is the first time you actually got like a proper guy to help. It's pretty cool. Alright, so basically you want to make sure that you got ammo and everything. And this is why I recommended making sure that you have all the good fruits, because this stage is going to take quite a while. And if you do die in here, it's alright, because you can spawn back in, so do whatever you gotta do. Especially if you're in like a group and everything's attacking you all at once, it's definitely easier just to kill yourself and come back in than have your buddy pick you up. That's what I meant with the sniper. Sometimes it just glitches out and you can't really aim down scope. And then if you somewhat stay within like this first area, Jack can pretty much cover you with the cannons. He does seem to shoot relatively accurately. I wouldn't say he's like completely killing all of them, but just something to keep in mind. Now there are going to be some storage boxes and storage crates that drop eventually by Jack later on in the back area behind the boat that's following around. And after you've pretty much finished the wave of enemies, Jack's going to actually move around and you have to interact with the different pulleys and help him get across to help you, which is kind of cool.
I can see more supplies, but reaching them's another matter. Look lively down there. Find a way to drop this mast.
So basically that is your cue to go over to that mast that we walked over basically right when we first entered the area and help him move across, but you might want to actually pick up that trident in the corner there next to the boat. So the mast is going to be behind you next to the entrance. So once you get up here, you can pretty much just drop your trident because it'll be safe for a couple minutes. Use the pulley, just lower it down, and you'll see Ghost Jack just magically teleport because he never actually jumps.
That's it. That's the spot. Now, hold her steady.
The real question is, though, does he actually need this, or could he just teleport up to begin with? Because it seems like he interacts with objects around the world normally. But at the same time, he can go through objects.
What's this? Gold? Oh, ammunition. Almost as good. Here, you better have these.
Thank you, buddy. Now, those are going to drop the ballista bombs and some fruit and everything, in case you guys are curious. Check this out. Drops about 40, so it'll do pretty good. I recommend the trident, though. It seems to do a lot better, especially against these big, gigantic crab enemies. The trident just knocks them out. If they spawn on top of you, though, they are going to do a ton of damage, so if you accidentally die randomly, that is probably what happens. Basically, you just want to charge it up, shoot. If it's like a little hectic like this, I normally just do the second charge because it's a little bit quicker. Takes it like 30 minutes to actually warm up to attack people when you're in the middle of combat. Now at this point, Jack should be back on the boat. He's back to his cannon position. So that's why we're trying to stay relatively in the middle here. Pretty good shot on him. Now if you notice, this dude's in like a little coral shell. If you just throw a couple bombs on him, it'll actually break it, and then you're able to attack him. Like a soap. Overall, I'd say this part of the Telltale is actually probably one of the easier boss fights. See, if you die, you just spawn back, so I mean, it's not too big of a deal. Now, if you do go into the area, if you are playing as a group, the other people are not actually able to enter until you reach a certain stage of this boss fight. So unfortunately, if you are playing with people and they don't follow you, they're going to be locked outside for quite a while. But like I said, this is the first Telltale that actually has an AI help you with the fighting, so it sort of worked out. He's pretty good too. I wouldn't say he's like taking out all of them, but he's helping a considerable amount. And you'll see him just taking the rope across, going on over into the next area, and now he's into the next cannon position. So basically, all the fighting is basically going to be in the exact same point. So if you notice where he's aiming, it's not like it's in a different area or anything. So it's not like you have to really move too much. Jack pretty much does the moving for us. You definitely don't want to be stuck in that corner though, so make sure you get out of that. Eat your fruit. Get your blown bombs and blow them all up. Especially those poison ones. Grab the tridents whenever you find them, because they're extremely helpful. And then you just basically have to look around for them. Alright, so let's just take out a couple more. And after this stage, anyone who was stuck behind a door should now be able to come into the area. Every time Jack Sparrow says that same exact quote, it's basically the end of a phase, or you're nearing the end of a phase. Take this dude out super quick. And now there'll be a couple more enemies spawning in. I tried to jump around up top where Jack was. I never was able to get up there. I wonder if you can glitch up there though. So that seems like a really good place to be. Nah, they never learn. And sometimes the tentacle people just seem to go away from you for no reason. Which is a good thing. Better than killing you. Alright, so just take a couple more of these guys out.
I can see more supplies, just need to get to them. Don't have all the fun without me.
You didn't even kick the supplies down.
I know you're terribly busy, but I really could use a hand
Oh
with
yes,
this mask.
terribly busy. Alright, so if you see the little purple coral over here, there's going to be a pulley right here. Basically all you gotta do is move this pulley, and it's going to rotate it across for Jack. He's going to hop across. And then he'll kick the supplies, even though he was on that side anyways. So it's kind of weird.
That's more like it. Here's your share of the spoils. I suggest using them quickly.
And he just goes about his day. I am almost positive, though, that he was already in that spot to begin with, so I'm not sure what that point was. So you basically want to take on a couple more crabs. And a couple more of these squid dudes, and you're looking pretty good. It's really not that hard of a fight compared to what you normally have to do. It's definitely a refreshing take compared to some of their other Tall Tales where it just repeats the same dialogue over and over again. This one is more of fighting grunts, and then the main bosses don't seem to stay too long. Like they seem to be a little bit more balanced health-wise. Which I mean is appreciated. However, these Tall Tales do not actually drop you any specific loot that you can sell, so it's sort of a give and play kind of thing. At least if you have like a 40-minute boss fight, you're going to get a skull. Gonna give me additional money besides the Tall Tale victory. This one, they just sort of give you the victory. However, the journey's worth it. In this Tall Tale, you'll basically unlock a couple weapon skins that'll basically look like coral reefs and stuff. Very bright, colorful stuff. I think it's for a pistol, and I'm not sure what the other is. Pistol is definitely as long as you just beat it. And I think it's a sniper if you do everything. Don't quote me on that one. I'm not 100% sure on the second one. First one's definitely a pistol. Alright, what do you got for us? Grab some ammo real quick. And I think we might have had the thing turn correctly for him on accident, because he didn't really say anything, but he just sort of walked across and the music played. See how he just sort of teleports over there even though we didn't do anything? I think he could have been doing that the whole time.
Bad! Very bad! extremely bad!
Enough! The ritual must not be disturbed. Gold Hoarder, dispose of them yourself. I obey.
Now, if you guys are familiar with doing the previous Telltales, especially for the Shores of Gold one specifically, you're going to be fighting the exact same guy while Jack Sparrow is stuck up there by himself. It's going to take him a couple minutes taking care of guys, so you're able just to handle things down here for him. I think the Gold Hoarder has a lot less health in this one, however, he does have more power, so just like how he was able to teleport before, he's able to now, except he spawns in the coral people instead of spawning in his regular gold guys. But as long as you grab some bonds, it seems to go relatively quickly. It's not like it's too crazy. Now, halfway through, after Jack actually does get done fighting the dude up there, he makes a very valid point of saying he doesn't think our weapons are doing anything at all. But I'm going to assume that we were actually taking away his health at this point. However, just keep that in mind if you have tridents on your map.
I don't think he's too bothered by those weapons of yours. Try something more boomish.
He recommends using them, so it probably wouldn't hurt if you have an extra trident around to blast him. I wonder if it does more damage if you do it before Jack Sparrow tells you that hint, or if that hint is to tell you to fight. Because it's not like any of the bosses in this game have health bars. You can't really see if you've been doing any damage to them or not. But thankfully the Gold Hoarder seems pretty stuck in his ways, and he'll sort of like toss some change down, pay some of the crazy dudes to come help. And they all relatively are distracted, so I'm just over here behind them all, just shooting in the back. And since he stays in the same place, you can basically charge up to the third blast, and it'll do maximum damage. And the Gold Hoarder is going to get defeated relatively quickly, compared to like the regular Shores of Gold Telltale. I don't know, they must have his health scaled down. Unless the Trident Spears do that much more damage. Basically then, that's it. Wasn't even sped up or anything.
So much for old golden bonds, eh? Now, we just need to...
How's it hanging? So basically he's going to be stuck here, and that rope is going to magically get weak enough to break after he says this.
If you tell anyone about this, I'll deny it. Now, get me down!
I didn't know that at the time, but if you notice, the rope actually does go down to one strand, which is kind of weird. I guess I would have done it before he spoke.
I have another plan, and this time it's a good one. You should probably stand back.
And he's going to jump up onto the cannons. The cannons are going to drop. He drops 2 of them. If you're playing with somebody, only one of the people get to use the cannons. I don't know if I could have kicked Jack off the cannon. There's a possibility that they just had this design that way if you're solo, that you have help. That could be a thing. But I just pretty much let Jack do his thing. In the next part, it goes by pretty quickly with the cannons. And you're done. Telltale complete. The Dark Brethren.
Did we win? This doesn't much feel like winning. And there's no sign of Jones. Also, no sign of much treasure. I have the disheartening sensation that we might not have stopped this little ritual after all. Well, at least we have one less member of this Dark Brethren to worry about.
The flying Dutchman has set sail, and the Dark Brethren follow in its wake. You must return to me.
You'd best jump down and find your ship, mate. Let's meet back at Theodolma's camp. I've got a nasty feeling things are far from over.
And basically all you have to do is hop through this portal, and as long as you are in a nice server, your boat's still going to be there. However, watch out when you come up, because sometimes people decide to sail in here relatively quickly and almost take your head off. I'm just over there looking at the Tall Tale book, which is still in the inventory, which is kind of weird, and then just magically disappears. And it completes itself. And then if you look behind us, there's just a random sleuth that tried to take me out. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.